got a bunch of fitting stuff to cover, have some builds to cover, and some discussions with a pretty damn good club maker and club fitter. Next on What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Welcome back to What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Why What's in My Drawers? Because old club makers and club fitters are tremendous pack rats, and it's about what's in my drawer in my shop. And I am no different. And why is this? This is so we can talk about golf club repairs, golf club reviews, and golf club fittings, also your scores can go low. All righty, so we got a lot to cover. We actually do have a lot to cover. Number one, let's talk about the very large elephant in the room, the eclipse. For those of you that were in the path of the eclipse or didn't get to see it, our neck of the woods, we were 97% going to be eclipsed. And I think it was very anticlimactic, but it was fun to go check it out. And this was just before it went dark right there. And it was just behind it. And you say, oh, look at all that clouding. I know. And then it goes like that. So not too bad. It was a lot of fun to watch. Mr. McGolf had a good time. And it was all good, right? It was all good. Another thing is I want to say happy birthday to my dad. My dad turned 88 yesterday. This is my dad right there, as we're celebrating in his house. I brought him over as an appropriate gift. I brought him some Buffalo Trace to mix with his Coke. And so as you can tell, he's real happy about that. And then as a dinner, we did a brisket. And that one turned out not too bad either. It made some burnt ends and made some slices. All turned out to be pretty good. All right, so we got that part. Oh, one other thing. In my hunting while I was getting the brisket and looking for something for my dad, we stumbled upon a Fireball small batch. For those that like that Fireball stuff, it was a Series 1, so it was the very first one, and it is twice the proof of the other one. So not to sound like a bourbon channel, but Robin had some today, and she was very happy with it. So there we go. So score one for the home team. All righty, some builds we've seen. If you guys watch on Instagram, every time we have a build, particularly on the weekend, we take a video of it and try and put some funny music to it and some accents and stuff. And this time we were using Axiom shafts, the 75R2, which is a very popular one because I got another build here with the very same thing. And then we had them in, well, that's another build, in those guys. Those are artisan golf club heads. And they were for a golfer in West Virginia. And he liked those. He wanted the Jumbo Max Ultralights. So we made them an inch over. We bent them a little bit flat, and we put the Axiom shafts in it. He asked for it. And so I did the video on taking a golf shaft out. That was what that set is. Tomorrow we'll be putting a golf shaft back in, which is those shafts. You get to see what I do to make those go. Okay. Another one was this set of Mizunos right here. And the 245s is like we called it this in the beginning of the year. Called the hollow body design. So you'll have 245s, the Dyna Power Forged or the Dyna Forged, the ZX4. Well, I guess you could call it the T200, which I happen to have one from Titleist. And I guess the Paradigm Smoke is actually would be considered that. All those are going to be very, very popular, mostly from a cosmetic point of view because they look cool, right? They look cool in the bag, and they're very, very strong, and they're not very strong. Yeah, they're strong. They're strong in their loft so that the average golfer like you and me can still hit them out there as far. And so we have that cool factor plus a little bit extra oomph on the club and the way it goes. So, and it's working, and it's a good club. I mean, it's been working. So if it didn't work, we wouldn't use it. All right, so we got that one. Another look at the Artisan Club right there. And then we had another set. This was the Dynaforged. Dynaforged came out really nice. I really do like the way these things are shaping up. And they had some KBS in them, the 100s. These were sent, those shafts were actually selected by the person. And there we go, another set. So from the gap wedge back, that's probably to a 4-iron. Yep, to a 4-iron down. I'm getting to like these more and more. I like to look at them. I think they're a little more traditional than folks would think, and they do hit very, very well. All righty. We also snuck in a Denali. All right, a Denali shaft. Now, this Denali shaft is not like the one that you're seeing out and about. The Denali black is out there. Well, this is the Denali blue, and the Denali blue is sitting like right there. And that is for club makers. Well, people that are, yeah, for club makers. All right. And could a regular person get them? I believe so. But if you wanted to be fit to them, then it's PFCs, professional fitting centers, that get that. Okay. And we talked about that one. All right, here we go. More of the same with the 245s. We put the Modus in them. Now, it's funny that in a lot of cases that when you see stock shafts, they like putting in the DGs or the TTs or it from True Tempers. And as I understand it, the Modus is right down the street, and these Modus fit in there wonderfully, and they do very, very well. Anyway, we put in some new. The Star Grip is becoming popular now. That white one was super nice. Now, the thing about this one is that it has the wrap, but it's not an aggressive wrap. It's flat, as you can tell. We'll go back to it. You see where it's flatter is there's not a lot of protrusion. So you get just enough of the texture to know that it's a wrap, but it's not bumpy. And it has its own texture to it. It's not sticky. It's like almost like it's been scuffed and it's rough gripping that way. Now the cool part about this one, because of the rubber that is on it, as you clean it, it will get tackier. All right. And then there was the end of those Mizunos I was showing you. Some T24s. And if you look, there's a D right here and that one. Oh, these both have Ds. Okay. Normally what we're doing is maybe we'll go into a different grind in the higher launch, but in this case they had them both, so we're good to go. The pearl finish, very soft, very nice, does a very good job. From an Acura point of view, the green shaft appeared. Did a fitting for a golfer, and we went through the Denali. He was 70 years old, if I believe this is the right one. 70 years old and just still kills it. Super low handicapper, plays to about a 5, I think, and has this Sam Snead kick and the Jack Nicklaus finish. And he likes the smaller head, so that's a Mizuno of the G series right there. Yep, Mizuno of the G series, and then we put the green in there, and it just performed better. And that's the middle of the road one. And I've tested that on a few other folks for driver shafts. I'm here to tell you, not bad. Not bad, Acura. You did a pretty good job. So I really, really, really like them. They turn out to be, and they do what they say they do. I put a red in another guy, these guys right here, and ball straight down. Pretty awesome. Okay, show and tell time as far as still making builds. Let's see what we got. All right, remember I telling you about the T200? There we go, T200. Let me do it like this. There's the T200, brand spanking. These are going to Iowa, right? I'm trying to get a hold of Larry. We're talking about length. And again, the Axioms in the 75R. And I got the nice ferrule going on it. It's nice and finished. And we got a final discussion on length and lie. And these guys will be done. Then we move up one, and this was a request. This is Mizuno's HM Forged. They're very similar in its build shape as far as to the T200, except for this is a cavity back. And then this one, we're doing the recoil dart. the recoil dart. So what we're seeing here is a lot of these guys that are might be older golfers, but they're still stronger golfers. So they're going for that compact head look, but we're giving them the lightweight shafts, those 75-gram shafts, because they still have that late release, and that late release is really going through, and they can still hold on to it. You know, they're older, so they may not have been as strong as they were in their 20s, obviously, but they still have that feel, and this gives them that feel because you can still feel the head weight, but you still get the total weight that works for them. And then finally, and I'm going to take this off because I think it's worth noting this one. This is new. This is going to Kentucky for a gentleman that retired from the reserves. And this is a Wilson staff wedge. This is just super neat looking. And this is their newer model, if you see that. This is the 5810. It has it's the bore through, but it's a fake bore through. They'll say it's real because it's a bore through, but the shaft only stops right about here, so I don't consider it to be real. And then a little more duller finish in the face area. Forged head, right? And you can say it's forged because it says so right there. I just like the look of this thing. I think this added little, it got a little bit of shine, a little bit of documentation on it, I think. And then here's another thing. I've found GolfWorks is offering some new custom style ferrules. And just to give them a test run, I got the double chromes. I think that's kind of cool looking, right? It's just shy of, I'm trying to get it so the light's bouncing off it, but it's chrome, so I guess it's supposed to. There we go. Just a good looking ferrule. Now they have colors now too. So, and not as pricey as a BB&F, maybe not as stout, which might make it easier to work with, but that's my first couple. I put those on the Axioms I was working on. I put them in as wedges. He really liked them. And they do shine up very nice. So there's a plus to it. They're easy to work with. They shine up nice, and they don't take a whole lot to shape down into it. All right, so that's what we got. One other thing, a while back I was talking to you about a lady golfer, and she was avid golfer, likes to go down and participates in the Myrtle Beach Mid-Am in the ladies division, not the Mid-Am, in the world amateur. And she said she was leading her category up into the last round, and just had some terrific number of 3-putts, and then had that same thing happen to her in another tournament, leading, and it fell off. And so we went back and we did and she saw Makefield at the World Am, and she said, well, I want to do that. They looked up and found me as a fitter. So she drove an hour and 45 minutes to get fit for a Makefield putter. And so we went through there, and she really liked the look of the standard model. It had the 3 peaks on it, but she really putted better with what I call the larger moon, the larger shaped putter. And we put an S neck on it. And then once we got her all into the right lofts and lies, she started putting really good. And again, avid golfer. I imagine she's very, very low handicap. And we just got an email today saying that she is putting wonderfully. She's very happy with the fit. She only 3-putted the first couple of putts, getting used to the speed, and since then has been knocking it down like nobody's business. So there is something to be said about, number one, getting fit, and number two, getting the right putter in your bag. So good for her, good for them. I'm glad it's all happening. All righty. I think I covered it all. Oh, let me get a little clarification. I was trying to think on the thumbnail about, what could be a good topic, and we had just covered a broad range. Oh, I got one more topic to go over. And I thought, you know what, let's just throw it out there and have a good discussion of fitting and club building and the whole 9 yards. And I started looking around and on my wall, and I was like, man, there's a lot up there. So just as a poke of fun at myself, I said, a damn good builder. Well, that's the way it goes. All right, last thing, we're going to talk about fitting. All right, I had a wide variety of fitting this time around, wide variety. A lot of beginners, all right, a lot of beginners. I had a lady who was an ex-softballer and, wanting to get into it with her husband. I fit her husband. He just smacks the ball a ton, and very, very good swing she had. She was just still very brand new and had to figure out the wrist action in order to hit things straight. Once we got her hitting things straight, wow, it was a pretty good, a pretty good setup. And she bounced more golf balls in the shop than anybody else, but it didn't hurt nothing, so it's not a big deal. And but hits the irons. It just swings really aggressive at it, which was fun. When women swing aggressive at in a golf swing, good things happen, right? And because let's face it, the golf industry treats the women not as equal as the men. Now, men are 90% of the golf world as far as selling the clubs, but taking a club, making it light, putting a small grip on it, painting it pink, really, we can do better than that. And that's what these fittings are for, to make sure that they get the right equipment. All right, that was one. Number two, we had and she couldn't get the club face closed, and we worked on that. The other one was I had a younger man in here. He was like the perfect version of a leprechaun. This guy was a monster. Guy was a monster, and he was this big, in shape guy that was like 5.5 foot tall, big red beard, come wearing a skid lid, and with Irish themed everything. It was awesome. And the guy was just as nice as the day is long, and we got him through it. And he, again, getting the club closed. And in a lot of cases, what I see here when beginning golfers is those thumbs are aligned at 12 o'clock, and for some reason they just can't get the club closed because their grip is massively weak. All right, and for those of us who don't have a lot of wrist action, you got to turn that so that V's on top, not onto the side, and normally that helps a ton. In this case, it did. In fact, he went from pushing it like 30 and 40 yards off to the right, because he did hit it very hard, to he hit it out to the 10-yard marker and was drawing it because he had this inside out path, but his face was so open, it would just override the path so bad. It just was this ginormous push. And so now he started getting the face closed, baby draws into about the 5 yards on the right. And then I adjusted one more thing on him, and all of a sudden he started seeing the left-hand side of the fairway. I said, "Don't get used to that, but take what you got." So we got him through that, and again, the putting is a big deal. We got him through the putters, and then last one was a young man who lives on a farm, and he was 6'4" or 6'5". Okay, maybe 6'4". He was 6'4", and this tall drink of water, and arms the length of an albatross. And of course, everybody he knows that sees him being this tall, oh, you need clubs that are oversized. Well, in a lot of cases, that might be true. However, when your arms are so long that you can itch the back of your knee without bending over, probably not. Okay. And what we found out is that he absolutely started drilling it when I made the club a half of an inch short. All right, drilling it. Okay. And so we really changed a lot of ideals, the things that he was working on. And the minute we did it, and again, he was another guy, because the club was so long, it's like delivering a too long of a baseball bat. You just can't get it square. He got this smaller one, and all of a sudden he's striping it down the middle. It's like something he's never done before. So all these things combined get together in these fitting arenas. Now, I will say what happened, and two out of these three, the Wilson Dyna Forge came out on top. Won by very little, and it's all competing against the 245, which is a very comparable number. So if you guys are out there, and I know I'm propping up Wilson pretty hard, but it's deserved, right? It's a very, very nice club. All righty. So now I got through it all. Whoo! All right. So we did our brisket. We did our our hunt. We did our food. We did our fittings. We did our repairs. We're good to go. Let's talk some now. All right, all the way to the top. Here we go. Pablo's on here, and I'm not sure what that's all about, but okay. Matt, hello everyone. What is this? Is it moving? It is moving. Let's do that again. Let's do this. Bang. Okay. 71, 78 and 2 rounds this weekend. Total eclipse in my area. Oh, yeah, he's right in the thick of it up there. It was an event I will never forget. Question, what snacks does everyone eat on the golf course? Cheers. Well, I'll go first. Snacks are more of a thing when I'm on doing the vacation golf. When we go out and about, when I was taking my dad out there with me, I would go get one of those granola bars. There was like the hard crunchy granola bar, and then I would take a pop, and I would hold on to that until the turn, start eating on it then. When we go out and we do the vacationing, when Bob and I are together, it's a smorgasbord, baby. What we take out, and we found one day he popped up with the hot tamale candies, those little chewy gummy candies that got cinnamon stuff in them. And one day we started. He just happened to have those things like you go to the movies and you get that box, and we started eating on it, and we started golfing lights out. And from there on in, it's been you'd hit a bad shot, eat a tamale, and it's been pretty good. Another one is the trail mix that I make up with peanuts, M&Ms, pretzels, banana chips, raisins, and some nuts. Those are always good. And then last but not least is he also has found those, and although we didn't go through too many of them this last time, but those Rice Krispie treats that you can buy. And those are, I think, if we're getting out there and we just need a little energy boost. Every once in a while, it's those cheese and crackers that you can buy in a pack. We do like those as well. All righty, so I did that. Let's see what you guys think. Okay, Champ Boy. First real question, do you guys have an alignment tool laser for installing grips, or is it by eye? Well, yes and yes. All right, so we have 2 gripping stations here at McGolf. One is by Golf Mechanics, and I did a review on that very, very long time ago. And that is the station that Mrs. McGolf uses because we have it out in the middle of the floor. And the one that's out in the middle of the floor, it does have an alignment guide, and it's a piece of plexiglass about yay long, about yay wide, with a stripe that runs down the middle that you can swing and have it go over top of the club. And then once you align the club the proper way, you can just follow that and make the 2 points of the grip match, and you're golden. Okay. Mrs. McGolf is skilled enough anymore that never gets used. It's a really good learning tool, and after a while, it just gets in the way because you know the orientation you're looking for, and you can see it because the very final check you do when you're gripping is you make sure your grip is seated and you put it in the playing position and make sure it's lined up the way that you want it. All right. Now, for me in the back, I have it's a vise that holds a speed clamp with a paint tray underneath of it to collect all the solvent, and it's the same concept. I just line it up and I get it to where I want, and then I set it and I look at it. I'm like, okay, I'm down on the ground and it's aligned the way I want it. We're good to go. Wipe it down and away you go. I don't use a laser one, although the laser one from Golf Mechanics is very cool. When he introduced that, I was at a PGA show that we were at, and he showed it to me, and it was very cool. If you were wanting to be precise, or you were doing a lot of grips, and it was all about time, it would be very, very, very useful, right? Because you would line it up, check it, and set it and send it on its way. You wouldn't even set it down and move on and know that it was good. So it all depends on your application. So there you go. Jim Anderson. Good evening, Jim and Robin. Wondered if you disappeared. Clocks moved forward last week, so instead of 9:30 p.m., we've caught up with U.S. time. Anyway, let the banter and chat begin. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for staying up that late. Uh, yeah, last week, I said the time before, I don't know if I made it clear enough, but I had another appointment on Monday that I couldn't miss. And so we had to miss that one. Emmanuel, what do you say, bud? Hello, Jim and Rob and all the gearheads. After I measured a guy height, arm length, and I measured his clubs, they were at least an inch longer than standard. And I asked him, he stated that. Oh, I asked him, he stated that was from his last fitter. Oh, here we go. Added an inch because of his Santa Claus-like stature, a little rounder than normal. This is the first time I've heard of this. Is this something I should have looked at before here on out? Thanks. Well, again, it depends. Like everything else, Emmanuel, it depends. Now, the ones that I made an inch longer from Artisan, that fella's a pretty big guy. And if you have like shorter arms and you've got to lay it over your belly, I don't personally think that would be necessary. All right. So where you come into this, it depends on the guy's posture, right? Uh, I'm not a flat belly by any shape of the imagination. I am not. And what I do is I tend to bend over more. And so a standard length club, and I'm 6 foot, standard length club or maybe just a skosh shorter works for me. So I don't, unless this guy's super duper tall, I just don't know that would work unless he's trying to golf like this instead of golfing like where your arms are like this instead of and he's trying to do like that. So I think that was just what that was a shot in the dark is what that was. I don't often eat on the course, but when I do, it's beef jerky. There you go. Beef jerky's good. I like beef jerky, particularly that teriyaki or the barbecue type stuff. Good stuff. Interesting choice. Yep. And the Costco stuff, man, they don't do a bad job either. I don't eat trail mix, but it's my go-to. There you go. Manuel does peanut butter and crackers with a fireball chaser. Yeah. Well, now you got something to look forward to there, Manuel. If you get out there to the local store, they got that new it's called Fireball Whiskey Dragnum, and 66 versus 33, and it doesn't change. It's pretty good. Mr. Walker, what do you say, sir? He gets a cherry fruit and grain soft baked bar from Aldi. Well, there you go. See, these are all good grains and fruits and stuff. We're all being healthy. So I'm just waiting for the guy that gets the Snicker bar because he doesn't want to look like Betty White. And I'm guilty of that. I got to put this club back down. Give me a minute. Okay. So I like that. Matt's all about the good choices. Yes. John Cherry's talking to us from Myrtle Beach. And David Jones eats peanut butter sandwiches and crackers. Peanut butter is really good for that kind of stuff. It's a stick to your ribs. Got a lot of what you really need. That's a good choice for a lot of folks. I suppose we could get in the discussion of creamy or crunchy, but we'll leave that one for another day. All right, Mark Nat, what mistakes do new club repair shops make when buying club equipment and trying to stock parts and shafts and adapters and grips? Oh, geez, Mark, we could talk about this one forever. In the day when I was part of the PCS, and I was actually their training director for a while, or education director. One of the courses we put on is how to start a business. And most people like, oh yeah, if you build it, they will come. Well, that's the worst plan on the planet. When you're starting this business, it's like any other business. You have to start with a business plan. Pardon me. You have to start with a business plan. And you can go on the internet, look around and figure out what a good skeleton for a business plan would be, like certain topics that you need to look at in order to be successful. because even to this date, the largest part of small businesses fail. Okay. And they fail because they do not have enough capital to get started. All right. That's number one. And number two, then when they get their stuff, they overspend their budget, and then they don't have any money to recover. Okay. So now that I've said all that, normally what new club repair shops do is they try to buy every tool that they can get their hands on, every tool to do every job. When either one of two things happens: one, they're not skilled enough to do that particular job, or two, your clients don't want that job done in the first place. Okay. So the best way to figure out what it is that you need and what it is that you can carry, number one, you need to figure out what job tasks you are going to perform at your shop, and then buy the tools accordingly. Okay. There are a lot of things that I would love to do that I do not do here. There are like looking at golf shafts in a more detailed fashion, like looking at each one of them in their strain and the whole 9 yards. Now I do look at them to be sure, but I don't do enough to build my own library. Russ is out there and he does it if I ever wanted to go look at it. But if you wanted to do it yourself, because I am very fiercely independent when it comes to this kind of stuff, to inventory my own shafts. Well, that is a strain gauge or an auditor machine. I don't have that, right? I don't have an auditor machine. Another couple of things now, keep in mind, I've been doing this for quite some time. And as I've progressed, and I went to schools and learned skills, and then I would buy the tools to go with it. Simple gripping and how fancy you want to be on the grip. People buy these air-driven air clamps, which I think are freaking cool. However, I use a speed clamp in order to not smash shafts, because I just don't have a good feel for these things. For the air clamps, right? If I did, I would use one. And that it's just speed oriented. Another thing that I don't have. Um, Well, I changed over. Now I did do this. I ended up buying a new drill, a new tabletop drill that is mammoth and built like a tank, because my 10-inch was not correct. Buying the wrong shaft cutter. I ran with a chop saw shaft cutter for ages. And what I finally figured out is I was putting dust everywhere into the shop because of that one tool. And so I started investing into a vacuum system. When I got smarter on vacuum systems, I actually made one for my shop as it is now. All right, it doesn't get 100%, but it's better than nothing. Then, as far as trying to start parts and shafts and grips and stuff, that it depends on your business model. We stock a lot of grips, particularly the more popular ones, because of people coming in. Hey, I'd like to get my clubs regripped. Now, if they want something that is unique, like master grips, right? They're a very nice grip, but they're $35 a grip or something close to that. And we don't have any. That's a once in a blue moon kind of purchase. So we'll just say, well, it'll be a couple days until we get it. You can't stock every single grip. Pick a company or two or even three, depending on your volume, and keep track of what people are asking for. Pardon me, and go with that. Your baseline Tour Velvets. And it's funny, we get the Tour Velvet is probably one of the more popular grips, and we rarely go through any of them. We go through the CP lines, the 2G lines, the Win lines, go through them like hotcakes. The MCCs, where they're dual material, where cord and rubber, go through those like water. But the rest of the stuff, not so much. And do that. As far as shafts go, there is no need to carry every shaft on the planet, right? That is for large box stores, and they don't even carry every shaft on the planet, and nor do they know every shaft on the planet. You are far better off to be familiar with all of this and what those profiles do, because I'm telling you, from here all the way to here is one manufacturer. Okay. One manufacturer. And I'm here to tell you within this, there's at least 7 different profiles. And I know what they are because I work with them. You get from here to here. And these is one profile, that is one profile, that's another profile, there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one, and then their weights. So, and what I suggest is getting on with a shaft grip provider or a distributor that is very reliable, and then being able to order from them and schedule your work accordingly. So that was the other part. And the last bit, and we'll move on, is that what we did is GolfWorks is only an hour and 45 minutes from here. Whatever we order before a certain timeline, we can assume that's going to show up the very next day. So we can use their inventory as literally our stock. Okay. And we say, well, it'll be done. We'll get it tomorrow. We'll put it in, we'll deal with it for you. Now, if you're living in an area that doesn't have that advantage, then plan accordingly and see if you can't use the distributors, because there's Shafts America, there's Acra, there's GolfWorks, there's all kinds of stuff out there, and go through them and see whether or not they can help you out. Okay, there we go. Matt, normally go with bananas, but if I'm going to be out later, I'll have a peanut butter and blueberry preserve sandwich. There you go. That's awesome. My dog Rex telling everybody thumbs up. I appreciate that, sir. Please do. Matter of fact, I'll go with that. Like and subscribe. Hit that stuff across the bottom, so we can get this word out to other folks and get that subscribership up. All righty. John Cherry, single length irons. If they're all made the same way, unlike with Sean's, how do you get the 9 through lob edge from ballooning if the shafts were soft stepped or hard step help? Okay, so this happens with, I think Cobra does it, and the guy that really does it the best in this particular order is Idle, or Adele, as the case may be. And what you have to do is, if you're not going to change the technology to get different reactions from the golf ball, you have to play around with the loft, right? You have to play around with the loft. Now, it doesn't, and don't expect that you're going to see, you might not see that 4-degree dispersion anymore. You might see 3, you might see 5, depending on the person. But to prevent it from ballooning, you're probably going to have to jack the loft down, and then it's going to go a little bit further. Okay. Or you're going to hit the balloon shot as long as it gives you your distance. Now, keep in mind, we're talking about ballooning, John, that we're talking about the 9 through the lob wedge. So we're expecting the ball to go high, right? How high is unacceptable? That's dependent on the person's swing and how they deliver it to the club. All right. Man, 79. That's awesome, Charlie. Way to go. Nice rounds, Matt. Too much rain last weekend. 70 degrees tomorrow. Money on the line. Game is on. Well, the last 2 days here, Emmanuel, have been super duper nice. And so we had to catch up with mowing. 20 acres is a lot to get done. Mrs. McGolf got as much as she could finish off the rest of the day today. Matt, thanks, Charles. 28 was probably the lowest I could have shot. Made a few bombs for par. All right. Travis K. just got back from our honeymoon. Well, congratulations, Mr. Travis K. Let's give him a round of applause. Just got married. Good for you, buddy. All righty. Played 2 rounds there. Have you ever been? No, I have not. Although a guy comes on here every once in a while, Matt Moy, and he is from that area. In fact, he's on one of the islands now, wherever they have the big tournaments, and he lives out there. I don't even know how to describe that would be if you lived out there, but a lot of fun. But no, I've never been. I'm told it's very, very nice. Hello, there's Peter from Myrtle Beach. Played over the weekend 74-75, heading off to Denver to play in a tournament. Is it another one of those veterans things there, Peter? That would be very cool. And watch out, that ball's going to fly far when you get up there. There we go. There's Al. He's just talking with Robin not too long ago. Matt saying hi. There's Mark Case. Greetings from the. I was looking. You might have fat fingered it in the Tampa area. Yeah, I have family that lives down there, buddy. Good job. I'm saying hello. Hey, Travis, love Hawaii. Stop there every Westpac. Okay. We never had a Westpac. We were always doing med runs. Med runs. Played almost every military course while I was there. That would be freaking cool, man. Good deal. Love the fireball. Got to give that one a new shot. You would be correct, sir. Let's see if I can go back and find it for you. So you get to see it. There it is. We will get rid of, let me get rid of, there we go. Nope, that's one more. Here we go. Let's do that. We'll do that. There it is. And then, so if you look, it says small batch, Dragon Reserve, and from the Dragnum, and it that one is the first line of them, the first line of them. So that was pretty cool. I'm saying hi Kent, hi Dean, hi John, Charlie, hi Jim Rum, hey buddy. Kent saying hey Robin. She's talking back and forth. Here we go. Look at this. She's just going after it. Doom, doom. There we go. Bet those white grips show dirt. I would imagine very much so. I would, based on they are kind of, they're not like sticky tacky. It's got a texture that is like tacky. I don't know if that makes sense. And but I think as long as he like wipes them off every, I don't know, three rounds or so, should be okay. There's Peter. Robin saying, hit the like button, please. There's Al. There's Brendan. What do you say, sir? Looking to paint fill my Scotty. What's the best way to remove old paint? Going to do a master's edition. Well, cool. Best way. There we go. Are we back? Am I back? I'm looking at you. It says I'm not muted anymore. Huh? Are we doing good? Am I making noise? All right, we're gonna keep going. Let's see. I'll start over there. So acetone. You want to take acetone and put them in a Q-tip and puddle the acetone on the paint and let it sit there. So you're going to set the Scotty sideways and dab it so it pools on there. You let it sit there just long enough, and it won't be. It's within 30 seconds to a minute. What? Okay. And then you can take a toothpick and you can run it around the letters, and you literally be able to pick it out. All right, that's one of the best ways to do that. Another way is if you don't want to go get acetone or it's not available. What? I only heard that twice now. And another one is fingernail polish. Fingernail polish has acetone in it, and you can do it. It's a much lower strength, so it might take a little bit longer. And then you can clean them out. Now, once it's all cleaned out, wipe it out real good and let it set for I'd say a good 30 minutes, or if you have a hair dryer or a heat gun, run it over top of the letters so that it takes out all the residual, so the paint that you get ready to put in there will stick. Kent says he's hitting the like button right there. Hard to show the Wilson wedge. Yeah. Yes, I did, Charlie. And it does look good, I have to admit. I looked at that one, I said, oh, look at that one. And it does look very good, I have to admit. Hey, Golf Addict, here we go. Hi, there's everyone. Cheers all. Thank you, sir. What time wait on the Wilson stock? I don't know. I think we're there now. Those Wilson wedges rock. I know. Gott's convinced me they could perform better than the Vokies. It could be a gamer. Gott's. Which one is Gott's? Anyway, that's I honestly I don't see what's wrong with them. They're doing a good job in that area now. I think that they could be getting a little bit more attention. And I got to tell you, don't look past the golf ball. That Wilson Staff golf ball it's a real deal. And bang for buck, I don't know how you're going to beat it. There you go. We have a validation from Charlie. Oh, there we go. Golf Addict been using the TR Ventus Red on all his clubs and his irons, woods, and hybrids. I like them a lot. I hit the ball high usually, so I want to take it down a bit. So I ordered a 7 wood with a Ventus TR Blue. Okay, makes sense. I think it'll work. Thanks, Charlie. Should that work, he says. A little bit. All right, that Ventus Red is no joke, but the profile on it is to do exactly what you were asking it to do. The blue is to, the red this way, blue this way, and black that way. That's the way I take it. So yeah, but when we put golf shafts in here, don't expect it to be a great deal difference. You could be like, here's the red and here's the blue, right? Or like this, or depending on where you're at. But don't expect it to. You're going to go from hitting this balloon shot to hitting line drives. That's not how it works. You can hit a balloon shot and you'll hit less of a balloon shot. So, and which is probably what you're looking for. Charlie loves his Wilsons. Hey, Brozowski, what do you say, buddy? From an Eclipse, Michigan. Yep, he would have had some of it. Oh, he's into beef jerky and cashews. That's a good man. Are we like some of the most healthiest individuals? Am I the biggest slob in this group that eats a doggone Rice Krispie treat? And the rest of it, I was doing okay up until that point. You guys are doing good. All right, DJ Dave, wine gums or Starburst is my snack. Oh, you're hooking me up, DJ. That's what we were looking at. And drink can be anything from beer, pop, water, ice. Very cool. Thank you. There we go. JC's laughing at all our questions and stuff. That's cool. That's where I like to leave it, man. Let's have a fun, serious conversation. He can put it with her calibrated eyeballs. And she can. She does a very good job with that. The only part that she might struggle on, the only part she struggles on is left-handed gear because she doesn't have that left-handed eye. And being left-handed, she just hands them to me. So we're good to go. JC, hello there, sir. Greg Carter, thanks for the Mizuno build, Jim. Absolutely love them. I think I should have went with a lie angle difference, but that's on me. Hey, bud. Well, lie angle changes aren't necessarily that hard if you got somebody local that can do it, like a Golf Galaxy or something. I'm sure they can hook you right up, but I'm glad you like them. Hello, Greg. Oh, here we go. DJ just got fitted for irons, wedges, and a putter at the local master fitter. Opened up a shot last year and was a great experience. Very cool. ZX5s, MK2s, nice. 4 through the A. Cleveland Ripcord, not a bad one. Lastly, the Spider. Nice deal. My treat. What kind of shafts did he put you into? That would be cool. We got Frank and Brendy. They're coming to us from the Facebook side of things. And Howard Shore. Love to have a set of clubs. Wait a minute. I have sent you a set of clubs built. Looking forward to the process. All right. Very cool. We got to go through Mrs. McGough. She lines them up for me. She's the boss lady when it comes to the schedule. But I've got 2 sets sitting in there we got to finish, plus that wedge that I showed you. And then we move on to the next set. So hopefully we get her done. Iron wedge, we're done. See, look at that. Dynamic 100. Woo-wee. 2 degrees upright. And loft still waiting to go in for a gap session. All right. Well, you like those. The fives are really a nice club. Uh, I really like the fives. I like the look of them, but there's something about that V sole for me. I just couldn't. I had bad turf interaction. That's not the club; it's the wielder. Because I would put the 7 in there and I would absolutely destroy it. Now they're also a club or a degree and a half weaker. I could easily jack them up and we'd be good to go. And I was considering that when they first came out. I really, really was. But my Callaways came out at the same time, and it was. I was going to go with those. Oh, there we go. Now we know. Well, I think all is well. I think I can sleep club in about a week. Well, hopefully we'll have it done by that time frame, and you have something new to play with. I'm in no hurry. I have equipment problems. Some people have other addictions. Mine is golf equipment. You are not alone in that particular area there, Howard. So all's good. Look, even Charlie, we could start a Golf Clubs Anonymous. All right, Seth Oot. Why is my ping adapter loose on a stock driver shaft? I don't know. I'm looking for something I can use as a prop here. Okay, I got a shaft, and I got an adapter. Okay, obviously not to scale. If it's loose up in this neck of the woods, right up in here, I'm going to take you from the extreme to the normal. If it's loose and it's doing like this and everything is okay and the adapter is solid into the head, chances are the club's broken in there. All right, that's the extreme. Okay, that's the extreme. The other possibility is that it's trying to let go. It's trying to let go and it's working its way out. And before the shaft fails, I would suggest taking it to somebody, or you could send it here for that matter, and having it removed and reinstalled so that it is good again. Okay. Now let's go the other way with it. Let's say it's the adapter and a head, right? And the adapter is loose in the head. And for ping, that is almost unheard of. But maybe it is. And if it is, then tighten the bolt underneath and you hopefully, and make sure it's seated, because the ping has these little bulbs that go all the way around and they tend to fit in with a friction fit, and they sit in together, and then you tighten it up there and you should be good to go. Okay. Now you should glue it on. Yeah, but have it pulled out properly. Okay. Now in most of these pings, they have a little rubber ferrule. Those are OEM related, and you probably have to buy another one of those to go back on so it looks good. And start with that. Nice round turns. Anytime you can break 80, it's golden. I would agree. Everybody, you got to prep it, Seth. Well, that's another one. Yep. Up here in Vulcan, Canada. Vulcan, Canada. That's cool. My home course opens in a week or 2 weeks. Can't wait. It's driving me nuts. Well, you guys are probably just about recovered from all that awful weather that came through about 2 weeks ago. So, yeah, hopefully that works out for you. Vulcan, Canada. We'll have to look that one up. Thanks, John. We've been at 7-8, if not for a bogey on the last hole. Thinking about that score. Here in sunny Alberta, no eclipse here, unfortunately. So you guys seem to be living in the windy alley these days. Yes. Hope it didn't blow you away. No, it started the eclipse. If you looked at the path, it started in Texas and it come up and it curves and it literally curved around us and went to up to where Matt lives. And then it went further. I don't know where it went after that, but we got what was 97%. So it never really got totally dark, but it did get it was funny. It got to where if you're looking from a distance, and if this was the whole of the sun, there's about that much that never got covered up. It was funny because it was light, up to about 90%, and then all of a sudden, bam! It got darker, and it got to this, and then it just stopped, and then it started going back the other way. I didn't think it was going to go all the. I thought it was going to go all the way through, but it didn't. It just went back the other way. So very neat. I thought it was very cool. And yeah, we're in there. And the barbecue, no way. Casual Golf, I just partnered with a simulator shop on my street as their club repair builder. Congratulations. Since they only sell and order new clubs from TaylorMade, I've been bringing in a good amount of work before I advert. Well, nice. Repair stuff is, you know, as long as you're pretty good at it, I mean, you can do that for quite some time. And just whatever you got to keep up with the new, because we haven't seen a new piece of equipment. From they went from bonded clubs to the adapter clubs, we'll call them, and you got to be able to do both of those. The things that have gone by the wayside, which you may not see in simulator world, is bore throughs and things like that. But good for you. I got our mowers out for a couple hours. There we go. John, how's the weather in Alberta? So Vulcan is very close to Alberta then. Charles, it's finally not snowing. I'm in Calgary and we got over a foot of last week. Wow. Today got an email that 6 courses are opening on Thursday, so hopefully fingers crossed. Very cool. Vulcan, Alberta, Canada. That's neat. I'll have to look that. Dave's from Michigan. New Haven, Michigan. Very cool. Charles always wanted to visit Calgary. Been through BC, though. Nice. I actually got up to, just as another story off topic, Robin and I went to Vancouver. And we actually went to Vancouver because there was a course called McCleary there. And the story behind it was very, very cool. Stayed in Vancouver. As before, it was getting kind of crazy there to begin with, but not real bad. You can go into the Gaslight District, and it was all good. And then we went up to where they had the Olympics, and that whole trip was very, very nice. I enjoyed it immensely. I never thought for a minute I could be walking around snow that was taller than me and thinking that I would be comfortable in shorts. You guys missed all the white rain last week, didn't you? Yes. When I get a chance, Robin, I'll come down and talk to Jim about lie angle. Okay. John, it's mostly gone now. Okay, cool. Taylor Vanny, hello, sir. Well, hello to you too, bud. What brand of clubs do you usually fix? I fix them all. I fix them all. They all come apart pretty much in the same way, and they all pretty much go back the same way. There's some nuances in some of them, but all of them. TaylorMade, Titleist, Callaway, even the cool ones. As I was showing you at the beginning of the show, even the boutique ones, Artisans. Pardon me, the Artisans and whatever else might be out there. I have fun learning about the new stuff, so yep, we can do it. I noticed at the bottom of the label it said rested in chartered oak. Does that mean it makes it smoother? I'm not a big drinker of the Fireball. I think it's good. And normally I get them in those little bitty bottles at the golf course when guys are throwing down, right? And I took a taste of the bottle, and yes, I do think it was smoother. I really do. I just think I do. I think it tasted better. I think it was a smoother, much better tasting version than the regular one. I'm looking at Mrs. McGolf, and she's about half out, so it must have been very good. Stampede time. The big rodeo is a blast, but getting very expensive. If you ever show up down here, let me know. The courses in the mountains you will love. Nice. Well done. Yep, we came out of it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Hopefully we're back. Alec Baldwin's not prop gun. Okay. Yep. Now we're back. Okay. Never sounded better. Thank you, sir. 5x5. Fix the mic, Mick. There we go. Much better. Yep. Xylene with a dental pick. That is also one way of doing it if you want to avoid xylene. But the dental pick is the way to go. I agree. I've got a handful of them that I've had for years in order to do that kind of stuff. There we go. Don't want to miss out on the Q&As. Thank you. I feel those whats. There we go. There's Steven. What do you say, buddy? Sorry, can she say that one more time? I couldn't hear. Oh, that's pretty good. Howard Shore, I know it's an addiction. Still have clubs from the 40s, which were my dad's. As for me, I think I've trimmed it down to at least 8 sets now. Wahoo! Well, if any of you guys want to experiment with some really nice old woodwoods, I got a whole box of them. It's about this big, and there's some really nice ones in there. And if you ever had one of those guys that want to challenge you to if you could, like what they did with Matt with the other clubs, they got some woodwoods in there, man. Pretty sharp that an old PGA player had. He just dropped them off here. They still have the victory grips on them. Yep, there. There's Krister. Hello from Sweden. How are you, buddy? I've been watching you hitting that simulator. It must be still kind of snowy and gross out there. But you're throwing it around, bud. Good job. Any reviews on the Newton shafts? No. Somebody told me about them, and that's all I know about it. The last new shaft I saw got thrown out was called Forza, and as it turns out, I know the Lee that's doing the R&D for them. I talked to him a little bit about them. Nice shaft, but that's all I know. Late to the party, but better late than never, Krister. I've chipped in a lot of shots off the green with my Wilson wedge. They do work. Very good. There's another validation. Welcome late to the party. Tyrone, we say, when finishing a putter, is it best to put in an oven after sandblasting it? No, I don't see any reason to. The sandblast bead is what takes off the finish or the coating, right? So if it had a coating, for instance, then that's all you're removing. There's no reason to bake it that I'm aware of. And we're going to assume a tire metal putter, not one with a face on it. Because if it had a face insert, then absolutely not. But if it was a solid one, then yeah, I wouldn't. I still would. There's no reason to put it in there. Now, if you're going to put another coating on it that requires it, then sure. For instance, if you're going to powder coat it, powder coating you have to put into an oven anyway, so you're doing it by requirement. But I'm not aware of any need to put it into an oven. In most cases, what I did was I actually scrubbed it off with wavy wheels and things like that. Then I took it to this and I made it a high polish, a very high polish, almost chrome like. And then if I didn't want that look and I wanted something a little more muted, then I'd take it out and I would tape the face off and take it out, and then I would sandblast it to give it that muted look, that satiny look, and then you can do whatever you wanted with that. I did a lot of bluing back in the day, and you want to talk about some strange chemicals. I know they got the cold blue that you can wipe down on it, and that's neat and everything, but it is not as long lasting as boiling it in a blue bath and then bringing it out and going through the process to stop it and then go there. It just, there's night and day look. It really, really is. Now, there's also, when you were talking about doing this, Tyrone, if you're talking about giving it that oil can finish, you're going to heat it up anyway, right? You dip in the oil and you just heat the crap out of it, so it gives it that multicolored look. And again, I don't see any reason to put it in an oven. There's hello, Charles. Any new clubs? I don't think he was sporting any new ones this time around. Another one bites the dust. Rob, are you carrying the Wilson X balls? I don't think we have them, but we can get them. Hello, Paul. Yes, it is. He's answering somebody. Emmanuel, when Vokey started to raise the center of gravity, I think it was around SM4, I quit playing them. Yeah, because he wanted to hit him. He was following what he was doing. He was following the input from the tour, and those guys are so good with wedges that they can do that. Normal guys like us, not so much. All righty, my big bro has Rice Krispie treats at the turn every time. I usually tease him about it, how it's a little late for breakfast. Yeah, that's a good one. There's Paul. Where are you located? We are in Waverly, Ohio, buddy. There's Diane. How are you? How are you guys? Robin, happy spring. Courses are finally opening here in Minnesota. Hoping it's golf week. We were fortunate to golf in Kauai last January. Absolutely amazing. Highly recommended the adventure. Very cool. Diane and her husband came down from Minnesota. That was cool. Uh, is the stock links different? Not as much as they once were. Okay. When they were changing a lot, yes. Right now, they all run between 45 and a half and 46, depending on the model, right? So if you see something that is super light or wanting a little bit of extra, the word distance comes into play. Chances are it's about a 46-inch club, and it is probably made lighter than the average golf club. The average golf club is going to be 45 and a half. There's very few that are, there's none that are below it that I'm aware of. And that's just become the new standard. Krister says, nope, I think I have told about my Callaway OptiForce Fairwood 5 with the Phenom 70 in it and TaylorMade. Yep. That one's okay. That one's a beast. Tomorrow I have a demo fitting with the Titleist where I compare Callaway Big Bertha with the double diamond with the Aldila to the current Titleist drivers. Well, hopefully, let's see. Hopefully, you find a good one out of the mix. Vintage Red versus UST High Launch. Other than dollars, is there much different in the shaft? Well, the Vintage Red, John, will have what they call the Velocicore technology, which is a different weave. Okay, a different weave where it's going on, and it will also be a much more, I'll say, stable shaft than UST High Launch. Other than that, you're not there. The UST High Launch is a good golf shaft for the money. The Ventus Red is a little bit more. Oh, I don't know. I think it's just a little bit more stable, probably a little bit better shaft. I agree, Charlie. I agree. Goes to follow up on the Mark V. I've got a steep, aggressive swing, and also 100 with a 7. Wahoo, dude! The feel is that has sold me. Yep, and the soul of the fitter said it would be good for me. Yeah. So if you got an aggressive and you're coming down steep, so that V sole, that first part interacts, and that's only about this much of that sole. And then if you get into trouble, that secondary part kicks in. I don't come down as steep anymore, and that's probably the reason why it did me wrong. All righty, John Lamb. I have a Poor Force High Launch Drover and love it. It is a good shaft. It's just different than the red. Uh, Theophilus Marshall. Okay. Uh, USD recoil dart 75. Well, I showed you there was one down here. I'm not going to go get it, but I like the dart. All right. I like the recoil shaft as far as iron shafts go. When the recoil first came out, I was on board. I was a tour spec dealer, and somewhere probably 3, maybe 4 generations into it, the quality started failing, and I did not like it. And I went a different direction, and they came up with the Dart, and the Dart is kind of their answer to reclaiming their quality control. And I do like the charcoal chrome kind of look on it. It's a kind of a cool looking club. But yeah, I do like it. And the 75 is probably going to be one of their more popular popular shafts because of the weight. Taylor, I only get out about once a week once the season's on. I I've had to say Sundays are my day, and that's when we tend to go out golfing. I'm trying to convince Mrs. McGolf to let me join a league and go out on Thursdays, but she's not very receptive right now. Follow up on the. Yep, we saw that one. Okay. Chad Michael, I'm wondering how much height and spin you have to gain by weakening lofts 2 degrees, swinging a 7 iron at 75 mile an hour. Well, Chad, 2 degrees, you're going to see an increase, but you're also going to see a loss in distance. And at 75 mile an hour, distance is going to be at a premium. So I would wonder about that, right? Uh, I don't know why. I honestly, you've got there are golf clubs where you can get stronger lofts, but the weight is down below, much like the Callaways. We'll do something like that. I believe TaylorMade has something like that in their P790s. Could do something like that. I don't know if I would want to weaken the club 2 degrees to get it up in the air more just so that you could hit it higher because I don't know that if you would hit it further. But on average, I would say probably for you, probably between 5 and 7 yards, and probably 2 degrees, you might hit it maybe a couple of foot higher. That's about where it's at. Robin saying hi. He's also a fellow Canadian from Thunder Bay, Ontario. Well done. Polish. I had a great view of the eclipse in Maine. There we go. So we got Maine, Canada, all up and down the East Coast. We got Michigan. We got Ohio. We're doing good. At least got into Vermont and New Hampshire as well. Nicely done. How much does it cost to get started on getting all the equipment that you have? Uh, it's not cheap. I wouldn't know what the price tag is right now, Taylor. What it looked to be is if you wanted to, I would go to places like Golf Works and Golf Mechanics and spec them out and see what you got. Because what I would use may not be what you would use. Ha ha ha! Birdie juice. That's right. Yep. Normally around here, I'm just a stone's throw from Kentucky, John. So birdie juice for us is flavored moonshine. And it's not the flavored moonshine that you buy in the back of a store. It's the flavored moonshine that you probably get out of the back of a car. BC, greetings from upstate South Carolina. Well, thank you, buddy. Played a charity scramble today and finished just prior to the full eclipse. Crazy shadows on the greens the last couple of holes. I would imagine that was what we were talking about it here at work, and the last one that we experienced, I was actually in French Lick, Indiana, and me and Bob were playing on the Don Ross course, and all of a sudden the shadows went because we were playing. It was almost a midday kind of thing, and then out of nowhere, all of a sudden, I'm trying to putt through a shadow. I'm like, well, where did that come from? Well, the wives were with us, and they said, well, bonehead, we're getting ready to have an eclipse. I was like, oh, okay. All righty. Al, what's up? Was knocking out clubs in the dirt during the eclipse. Maybe ET will fix my game. I hope. Thanks, John. Sounds like a plan. The Stampede does look like it would be a blast. Yes. There's Lawrence. How are you, buddy? Taylor, what equipment do you think someone needs to repair starting out if they want to do it on their own? Well, as a very minimum, Taylor, I would say number one, you need a good vise, you need a good shaft clamp, you need a good ruler, uh, you need a good shaft cutter, whether it's mechanical or automatic. Uh, you need something good you need a good 1x42 sanding belt, and you need a good shaft puller. After that, it all becomes where you want to go, whether you go frequency, strain gauges, and all the other. Oh, and a good butane torch. Had a driver shaft rattle on the first hole. Cut a hole in the grip to get the plug epoxy out. Should I pull the tip and rebuild it or just play it? I just play it, BC. I just play it. Normally what happens when people put that together is that they tend to fill up the hosel and then they stick it in there and the remaining stuff goes up inside the shaft and you've just loosened it up. I don't think the bond has been taken care of at all. The worst case scenario is put some tape over the end of the hole that you created in your grip or just regrip it. I think you're fine. Oh my gosh, Rogelio Mendez. Hopefully I said that right. I'm sorry. How often do you fit drivers at E1 or higher? Wade Gamer and was E2 Hook City when I tried lighter builds. Honestly, Rogelio, very very never. I don't ever fit to swing weight. Number one. Uh, I don't know if the E1, because if the funny part about getting swing weight in a driver and talking about a hook machine is two different things. Because if I needed E1 without adding a weight, I'd have to make it super long or super heavy. If I made it super long, then that is a hook machine all its own. Or if I made it standard length and I wanted to make it E1, I would have to add a whole truckload of weight. And normally you're going to put it into the hosel area first, again, which wants to make the club close. So it's a little different. So we got to, in the way that works, I would imagine that you're looking at is a very, very heavy shaft. Putting in some heavy weights if it's a multiple weight type of head would work best to make that happen. And maybe even if you're hooking it off the planet, and you might try to stiffen up the flex a little bit. But I rarely get to that point. I've not seen anybody do that. In fact, just the opposite. Yeah, we're saying hi. Steve Sherrill. There's a couple of new names out here today. We're good. I'm 81 and shoot my edge or better every round. Nice. I have favorite clubs in my bag and tend to not like sets. Should I fit each club individually? Well, chances are, Steve, you will never see that. The closest anybody goes to doing fitting each club is out in Scotland, and that's my buddy Scott Gorley, and he'll fit a long, a mid, and a low iron, and that's about it. Uh, but I am unaware when they talk about full bag fitting, they don't talk about each and every club. That's just not happening because it would take you a day to get through the bag. If you don't like, uh, I have favorite clubs in my bag, and I tend not to like sets. That's fine. You can get fit and do stuff like that, and just select what you want out of it, so that you can get through it and be done. That's fine. In fact, we do that a lot, right? We do that a lot here, and get the clubs that you like into the bag. That's the idea of a custom fitting. Uh, but you might, and we look at regular clubs and then wedges. We do break those down. Do other people do more? I would imagine there are some out there, but I'm not aware of many of them. Tyrone, thanks for answering questions. Not a problem, buddy. When it comes to putter shaft technology, what's your opinion? Worth it? Yes. I've got I like BGT. I'm not a big fan of LA Golf. Not that I just don't like them. I just like the BGTs better. There are other ones out there that are doing it now. You can probably find one in KBS. And Acura. Acura's got it in spades as far as costs go. But I have an Acura. It is an Acura proprietary shaft in my lab putter, and it's a low torquer as well. So yeah, I think that they're very much worth it. I think, well, let me put it this way. I think that they work very well. Whether they're worth it to you or not is purely a pocketbook check, but I think you will certainly improve by having one. All right, couple more. Here we go. Mike Hugel. What do you say, man? From Detroit. My favorite driver shaft, the Matrix Ozic. Okay, the white tie. It's on its last season. Anything in the market nowadays that is comparable. The Ozic's a beastie, particularly the white tie. That's a beastie. Yeah, let's see. If you're really aggressive, there's a couple out there. See these blue ones right here? Graphite design in the UB. That'll take care of you. You won't turn that thing over. And I would literally go down one. If you're an X flexor, I would go to the stiff. I've done that with several guys that were super aggressive and worked like a champ. But those guys for sure. Neotac. Any opinion on the Adele SMS irons? I do not. I would lie to tell you that I knew what they were mostly about, but I do not. I know Adele makes a great product. I'm just not real familiar with those. And the time he takes to make them is just incredible. Okay, steel fiber or hazardous smoke, which is stiffer? Well, steel fiber is almost primarily an iron shaft, where the hazardous smoke is not. But in the smoke comes in various colors, right? Black, red, yellow, silver now, and it depends. The steel fiber comes in there's a premier, which is basically a weight sorted variety, but the steel fiber tends to play a little bit stiffer than advertised. I would say that. I have the Mez Max, right? Now, if you like it, the DF3 is a smaller version of the DF2, which I would lovingly call I call it the branding iron, and I can't putt with that thing. I do. It's too big for my eye, and I do not like the sound that comes off of it. It is a very aluminum-like putter, and so is the Mez, but it makes that ting sound, and it just drives me insane. And I never thought I would be that kind of a person, but I am. But the Mez is quiet, solid, ready to rock and roll, and it's all good. Now, if the DF3 is compacted down to that kind of same shape, I would say it's very nice. The key here is to do the fitting, because it relies heavily on lie angle and balancing from the lie angle and the length. So you want to make sure you get those correct. Is 900 bucks with upgraded Yes, it is. That Acro shaft's no joke, and it is 400. So from a U.S. dollar kind of look, it's about a $600 job for us here. Close enough. It's a Venice TR 4575. Just weird. Feels good. Hit it well. Hey, dude, if you hit it well, no problem. Yes, you could be with a lighter build, but in reality, Regilio, the most important with driver is the quality of your hit or the smash factor. If you're fine in the middle of the club with that, you're gold. You're absolutely gold. Now, could you speed it up with the other one? Yes, but you're talking about a mile an hour. You're only talking a couple of yards. Again, also, hitting the find in the middle of the face is far more important than any other stuff. You find in the middle of the face, you're good to go. Excellent stuff. I'm just a stiff player with a medium swing speed and love the stability. I'm good with the 230 FT. No problem, buddy. All right, last one. Tyrone wants to know what's in the bag. Not much has changed since last year. I got the Paradigm driver, only because I haven't tried the smoke yet. Supposedly smoke is just a skosh better. I got 3 Paradigm, and I'm looking at it. That's the reason why I'm looking over this way. I got 3 Paradigm hybrids, of which I fall in and out of love with every round. And I've got some Rogue ST Pros with some Acra TZ 95s. And I'm gaming 2 putters, which is really the most silliest thing ever. I've got the Makefield original putter with the BGT shaft in it, and I got the Mez Max. Oh, my wedges are the new J grinds from Callaway, the full toes. I love full toes. I don't know what the deal is, but I love the J grind. It's a traditional tour grind from the Tour Vans, and they work for me. They just work for me. Now, I am super considering a different iron, and that'll turn into a build and a video, which will have fun. But I've got one more test I've got to do to make sure there should be good to go. All right, got to run. It was awesome catching up with lives. Well, same thing goes for us there, Golf Addict. Guys and gals, thank you so very much from Minnesota all the way up north, all the way over to the side, even Brendan from Ireland. It was awesome, right? It was awesome. So I appreciate it. Guys, watch out for the video coming out. Please watch it if you would. And as always, guys, let's see your scores. Go low.